A couple showers now, but I expect strong to severe thunderstorms developing through the day tomorrow. An update on the timing ahead on Fox 5 News at 10 seconds away.
Fox 5 News at 10 starts right now.
Just don't know. Like, we don't know why it's causing this street or this certain area all the time. Like, we just don't know. And it's scary. It's scary to have kids being raised in this.
Front doors kicked in, cars stolen right out of driveways.
And all of this violence is happening in broad daylight as children play in their front yards. It is a dangerous situation, and it's only getting worse.
We'll have that story in just a moment. But first, a strong storm system picking up strength as it pushes south into Georgia.
Let's send it straight over to Fox 5 Storm Team Chief Meteorologist David Chanley. David, when can we expect to see the effects of this system here in Georgia?
Well, Russ and Sinead, I think we'll see a little bit of it overnight tonight as far as a shower, a rumble of thunder possible. But the big storms are going to be in here later tomorrow afternoon. We'll get to all that here momentarily. This is Fox 5 Live Viper right now. We've got a couple showers that have popped up. One lone shower in Polk County, southern Bartow County right now, really diminishing in intensity as it drops down to the southeast. We have a few light rain showers have dotted the North Georgia landscape there in the mountains up around Blairsville and Union County. Boy, look at this complex battering the Carolinas right now. How about this line of severe storms for Virginia all the way through north and on into South Carolina right now? Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings going on, and man, they've been pounded all evening long. And this thing started up in Minnesota 24 hours ago. I'll show you that coming up in about 20-25 minutes or so. Now, looking upstream, yeah, there's some more complexes up here in Indiana and also in Illinois. Those are dropping down to the southeast. That's what's going to impact our weather through the day tomorrow. Still holding on to the enhanced risk to see a severe storm across parts of North Georgia right on through tomorrow afternoon and evening, roughly a line from Rome to Woodstock to Gainesville, points northbound. That's a pretty good shot to see a severe thunderstorm sometime during the day. We're in the slight risk category here in metro Atlanta right on through tomorrow afternoon. So I'm going to be working on this mesoscale convective systems. We're going to talk about that and track systems coming right out of the Midwest our direction. We'll do that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, David. I want to get back now to that Fox 5 News alert. Imagine waking up in the morning to hear someone breaking down your door.
It has become a terrifying reality for residents in one East Atlanta neighborhood. The crooks are so bold that in some cases they've actually returned to the victim's home the next day to steal more.
Fox 5's Nicole Estefan is live in East Atlanta tonight. And Nicole, this violence really seems to be getting worse.
Well, that's exactly what residents here say. In fact, this is the second time we've been in this East Atlanta neighborhood in a matter of weeks. The crimes are very similar. They happen in broad daylight. As you mentioned, during the day, people actually witnessing what's going on, but residents say nothing seems to stop them.
We'll want to make sure that you've got security updated and take care of things and make sure everything's good, because they're probably coming back.
A chilling warning from police to an East Atlanta homeowner who thought the worst was over.
They were on a bit of a tear. Looks like they went to my bedroom first, ripped open the bedroom, pulled all the drawers out, clothes everywhere. Night tables, pulled all the drawers out, emptied everything out. ripped up my bed.
Early Saturday morning, Nick Burchell received a phone call that has become all too familiar in this area.
Your house is being broken into. The police are there and they are chasing a couple of young guys.
Fox 5 was just a few blocks away last month after several neighbors had their doors kicked in and valuables stolen. Break-ins in broad daylight. Those responsible don't even seem too concerned whether or not someone is home. The crime's similar here, but it seems the crooks are getting braver.
That's what's scary. They'll ring doorbells even at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I'm really concerned. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy.
Lee Tanner was across the street when Burchell's house was broken into, just a week after two of his neighbors had their doors kicked in.
They were kind of eyeballing everybody's house, and I noticed that they went up to their front door and started peeping in the windows.
Some of the items stolen speak to the possibility of more crime to come.
They did take a big flathead screwdriver, so which made me think like maybe they were taking something to use for further break-ins.
A frightening thought for many here when they lock up to go about their days, wondering whose house may be next.
We don't know why it's causing this street or this certain area all the time. Like, we just don't know, and it's scary. It's scary to have kids being raised in this.
In this latest incident, it was a neighbor that noticed these individuals and called police, and that's exactly what police are asking for if you live in this area, to keep your eyes open. We are live in East Atlanta. Nicole Estefan, Fox 5 News.
All right, Nicole, thanks. And police in Clayton County are investigating a violent home invasion in Morrow. Officers tell us 3 armed men forced their way inside a home on Arbor Place Drive while the residents were still inside. The robbers stole a cell phone and a purse before taking off in the homeowner's car. We're told those victims were terrified but otherwise okay. And tonight, DeKalb police hope surveillance video will help them catch a killer.
53-year-old Harry Wells was gunned down on the job at the Exxon near Memorial Drive and Covington Highway. Now, police say at around 4 this morning, someone came into the convenience store and shot the father of 6. A witness tells Fox 5 that he saw the gunman just after the shooting.
Guy walked in and I heard a shot and I looked. I mean, he had put the gun down and walked out the door.
So you didn't hear any words exchanged?
No words exchanged.
Customers who knew Wells are remembering him as a kind and giving man.
Cobb County police tell us a foot pursuit ended with an officer injured. Police say the officer was running after suspects who had ditched a car and ran into the woods in the 1600 block of Barnes Mill Road. Police are not telling us the extent or nature of the officer's injuries. Doctors treated him at Kennestone Hospital. Well, all new at 10 tonight. If karma is real, the thieves in this next story can expect some serious payback.
Yeah, a Metro Atlanta church raised money to buy a car for one of its members, but then someone stole it just shortly after the church gave it to her.
Now, Fox 5's Denise Dillon joins us now live from Southwest Atlanta. And Denise, how did all this happen?
Yeah, she says it was a group of teens who obviously had nothing better to do. Now, this really is a heartbreaking story. Members of this church, New Faith Christian Church, had gathered together, gotten their money together to get this woman a car. They were excited. She was excited. Ms. Rose Cherry only had the vehicle for 48 hours when, poof, it was gone.
Yes! Long time coming. Thank you, Jesus!
Rose Cherry screamed in delight at the sight of her new car, a 2012 Hyundai Accent.
That sets this beautiful car with this gigantic silver bow on the top. And I just couldn't believe it. It was like I've died and gone to heaven, if that's what heaven's like.
After her old car broke down more than a year ago, it's been a struggle for her to get around, especially on Sundays and Wednesdays when she goes to church.
And it takes me 2 buses and 2 trains to get to church.
Bishop E. Devon Phelps saw her struggle, so he and the congregation at New Faith Christian Church pitched in to help her get a new car.
He told the members, we're going to get Mother Cherry a car, because I don't want Mother Cherry catching the bus. She's not going to catch the bus anymore.
She had the car 2 days and was out riding with her friend Leola Stewart when she got into a fender bender at this intersection in Southwest Atlanta.
And the guy in the back, boom.
Both women got out of the car. That's when they say several teens jumped in her vehicle and took off.
And when I turned around, the boy was in the car, and I said, Lord, they done stole this girl's car. I don't want to press charges, I just want him the car back, because it was a blessing from God.
Now, Ms. Cherry says her purse, her camera, and her favorite pink cane were also in the car. I just talked to the bishop here at the church. You'll hear from him coming up at 11 on The Edge. Reporting live in Northwest Atlanta, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
Wow, hope that car is recovered. Thanks, Denise. Well, he's behind bars in Cherokee County, and now he's accused of additional crimes in Gwinnett.
Police say 58-year-old Mark Ellis ripped off disabled people by selling them home chairlifts and then skipping town with their money. He was arrested back in May after police say he pulled the scam in Cherokee County, and now police in Gwinnett County say they've identified 3 more victims and believe there may be even more.
A DeKalb County police officer is recovering tonight after he was shot several times in the back. Officer Chester Lamb was responding to a call at the Marquise Point Apartments on Sunday when police say 20-year-old Frederick Farmer opened fire. Now, Farmer was killed during the exchange of gunfire, and the GBI is now investigating. Also developing tonight, a Gwinnett County man is in the hospital after he was shot multiple times by a Gwinnett County police officer. Investigators say that man showed up with a gun at his ex-wife's house on Sunday night and threatened to kill everyone inside. 2 teenagers managed to run from the Grayson home and to call 911. The man was shot by officers who say he refused to drop his gun.
Well, one of 2 men who were shot by Newton County Sheriff's deputies has died. It happened Friday night when deputies stopped a suspicious vehicle in Covington. Investigators say one of the men in the car pointed a weapon at the deputies, and that's when they opened fire, hitting 2 of the men inside. A 3rd person was arrested for a probation violation. The GBI has taken over the case.
We have some breaking news to report. New York City has reached a settlement with the family of Eric Garner. Now, you'll remember he's the man who died in police custody while officers held him in what the family described as a chokehold. Well, now, almost a year after his death, New York City officials have reached a $5.9 million settlement. The family was originally asking for $75 million. No charges were filed against the police officers involved.
Turning now to a news alert. The son of a Boston police captain is under arrest tonight, accused of plotting to commit terroristic acts in support of ISIS.
And tonight, the FBI says he was planning to set off pressure cooker bombs at a university. News Edge anchor Tom Haynes is here now with these alarming new developments. Tom?
Yeah, Sine and Russ, that's right. 23-year-old Alexander Chicolo arrested in an FBI sting after his own father, a Boston police captain, notified authorities. That arrest happened on July the 4th, but the information was just released today by the Justice Department. The FBI says Chicolo illegally purchased 4 firearms from an undercover agent. Those guns were taken into evidence along with several partially constructed Molotov cocktails during a search of his apartment. Chicolo was under FBI surveillance before his arrest. According to court documents, he talked about plans to kill police officers and execute as many students as possible at a nearby university. Former Commissioner of the Boston Police Department Ed Davis says he knew Captain Chicolo and calls the arrest a terrible shock.
You have a situation where ISIS is exploiting young people that have mental health problems, and you know, it just adds to the tragedy. It's a terrible thing to have happen. Bob is a good man who's come from a good family, and to have this kind of an issue occur is just a terrible thing.
The FBI says the day before Chicolo's arrest, agents watched him at a Walmart buying a pressure cooker similar to those used in the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings. Then, once in custody, officials say he grabbed a pen during a jailhouse medical screening and stabbed a nurse in the head. A bail hearing has been set for tomorrow. Sine and Russ?
All right. Thank you, Tom. A local shelter worker mauled by a dog in her office. Now, the problem that forced the shelter to use employee space to house animals is coming up.
If we're going to truly have a separation of church and state, then let's provide that legal reassurance.
Tonight, why one Georgia Republican wants to protect churches from being forced to perform gay marriages.
And kidnapped from her home, the search for a missing girl ends with a woman behind bars.
A Paulding County administrator used tax dollars to run background checks on people. Who were they? The Fox 5 I-Team has the list. We'll tell you some of the surprising names coming up. Sort of designed it ourselves and went to a jeweler and
Now to a Fox 5 I-Team exclusive. A former Paulding County administrator who says he was the victim of an extortion attempt is accusing a Paulding County commissioner of being involved in that crime.
Yeah, that stunning accusation came after our Fox 5 I-Team learned former Administrator Mike Jones used tax dollars to run a background check on the county commissioner. And senior I-Team reporter Dale Russell joins us now with the latest. Dale?
Russ, this has surprised a lot of people in Paulding County. Former Paulding County Administrator Mike Jones wrote the Paulding County Sheriff and District Attorney last week that County Commissioner Todd Pownell needs to be investigated for extortion, a claim neither the sheriff nor DA took very seriously, and shocked the commissioner.
But as far as myself, it's political espionage. Is basically what it is.
Paulding County Commissioner Todd Pownell finds himself at the center of a political potboiler. Former County Administrator Mike Jones told investigators in an email he believes Pownell was involved in an extortion plot against him. What do you think of that?
That's ridiculous. It's crazy.
The strange story began on October 2nd, 2013. Using a tract phone, someone tried to extort money from then Paulding County manager Mike Jones. The first threatening text to Jones, "What's it worth for your wife not to find out about the $1/2 million cash stash or some of the Vegas and PR escapades?" Jones told me he thought it was a friend joking around. He texted back, "What are you offering?" The answer, needs $38,000 tonight. During the next 7 months, Mike Jones used a county credit card to run a series of background checks on various citizens. He says he was investigating the extortion attempt and not politically snooping.
We absolutely do not know the whole story at this point.
Local podcaster and blogger Candy Goldman, known as the Ponytail Patriot, was one of the first to question the motive and timing of those background checks. The reason? The extortion attempt happened the same day the county commission announced it wanted to bring commercial flights to the Paulding County Airport. It quickly became a huge, hotly debated political issue.
And welcome to another edition of Peach State Politics with the Ponytail Patriot.
Goldman broadcast her fears that Jones, a huge commercial airport supporter, was not investigating a crime, but digging into the past of his airport opponents. Opponents like Todd Parnell.
I have to wonder why they're running a background check on a sitting commissioner who's getting ready to run for re-election.
The Fox 5 I-team obtained a list of those background checks. Mike Jones says he investigated phone numbers and people's names trying to solve that extortion case. Another name on the list, Patricia Barnett. She lives near the Paulding County Airport. Says she's attended some commission meetings about the airport issue, and she feels violated that someone used tax money to try to look up her background. Jones told me he doesn't know Patricia Barnett or remember why he looked her up.
At no time should taxpayer money have been used to conduct any background checks on any citizens for any purpose.
Then nearly 3 weeks later, Jones ran a full background check on Commissioner Parnell. By this time, Parnell had become a vocal critic of the airport plans Mike Jones supported.
Are you mad about this? I'm very upset about it.
On the phone, Mike Jones said he suspected Parnell was behind the extortion attempt. Why? Jones told me he was suspicious because the extortionist texted he wanted $38,000. Jones felt that number was close to the county commission salary that Todd Parnell willingly donated back to the county, $32,800. Jones felt the two numbers were suspiciously similar.
And I think it's ridiculous that that's the answer that he's given.
But there's more. The Fox 5 I-team obtained an email Jones sent to the district attorney and the sheriff the day we were conducting interviews. In it, Jones wrote, "The evidence seems to indicate Commissioner Todd Parnell has, at a minimum, at least some knowledge of the extortion attempt, if not direct involvement."
I don't have any reason to send him any threatening text. He's mistaken, grasping at straws, trying to come up with something, I guess, to tell people why he did what he did.
And Paulding Sheriff Gary Gulledge's spokesperson and District Attorney Dick Donovan both told me they never took Mike Jones' suspicions real seriously. The sheriff never investigated Parnell and has no intention of investigating him now. Sine, Russ?
So, Dale, Commission Chairman David Austin has been a strong supporter of Mike Jones' use of these background checks. What's he now saying about all of this?
Yeah, in a word, nothing. We reached out to him to talk to him. He has been a big supporter. He has said that Mike Jones was trying to solve this crime. That's why so many people wanted to see who were the people he was doing the background checks on. We've heard nothing from the chairman.
So do you have the names of all the people who had these background checks?
No, we don't. I'll tell you why, Russ. There are two different companies that were used to do these background checks. One of them supplied the names that we now have. We got through an open records request. The other company didn't respond to the subpoena. So nobody has that list. So there's other names out there that as of right now, nobody knows who they are, except perhaps Mike Jones, if he can remember.
Well, it is a thick plot there.
It is, and it'll be interesting to see what the Paulding County Commission does when they get together to discuss this latest. This is pretty amazing. A lot of people out there were shocked when we talked about this.
All right, Dale, we'll keep us posted.
We will.
Thanks.
Thanks. A new battle is brewing over same-sex marriage in Georgia. House Speaker David Ralston is backing an election year bill that he says would make sure churches are not forced to perform gay wedding ceremonies. Critics of the bill say the Supreme Court decision, the U.S. Supreme Court decision, doesn't require churches to perform same-sex marriages in the first place. An Atlanta pastor who does officiate gay weddings supports the proposal.
I would be in complete total agreement with that. I believe that's mixing church and state in a way that is very dangerous.
Now, Speaker Ralston says the bill will be ready for the first day of next year's session. A similar bill has already passed in Texas.
Taxpayer dollars down the drain. A leaky pipe pouring water into the streets of Atlanta. So what does the city do about it? Well, they did something, but they didn't fix the leak. And a local shelter employee rushed to the hospital after a dog attacked her inside her office. Why officials say the whole thing could have been prevented. Next. It was a horrific attack at a local animal shelter. An employee was mauled by a dog that got loose in her office.
And here's the thing, the dog never should have been in her office in the first place. And tonight, DeKalb shelter employees tell us the facility is so packed they have no other place to put the animals.
Well, Natalie Pozo with News Radio 106.7 has our story.
As a treat for DeKalb County Animal Shelter employees and to alleviate some of the facility's overcrowding, employees are allowed to keep dogs in their office. But over the weekend, a pit bull mix got aggressive with one of the employees, something spokesperson Karen Hirsch says is rare and unusual.
One of the employees walked by and fell, and the dog, which has never displayed signs of aggression, bursted out of its crate, got off its leash, I believe, and started attacking her arm.
It took a couple of employees to get the dog to stop biting the woman's arm. Medics rushed her to Grady Memorial Hospital. Spokesperson Hirsch tells us the worker has full use of her arm and feels bad for the dog that was put down. Hirsch says since the 4th of July, they've seen a 20% increase in animals at the shelter.
This 4th of July in particular, they were allowed to set off louder fireworks, and so we saw more animals come into both of our shelters, Fulton County and DeKalb County Animal Services, as a result. That in combination with the spring impregnate dogs having babies.
Right now they have about 430 animals. They're only supposed to have 150.
But right now we're doing the best we can, and we need the public to step in and help us by adopting animals.
Natalie Pozo, News Radio 106.7 for Fox 5 News.
Gunned down in their own home. Tonight, new developments in a deadly home invasion caught on surveillance video.
And police say she was abducted from her own home. The search for a kidnapped 12-year-old and where police eventually found her coming up tonight. And Fox 5 Chief Meteorologist David Chanley has our Storm Team AccuWeather forecast. David?
Been going over new information here this evening, and it looks like our thunderstorm risk is going to be rising over the next 24 hours. A couple waves moving in here, and some of those are going to be locally heavy. The details on that straight ahead.
All right, David. Well, they were there for a game, but instead they got a show from Mother Nature. The lightning storm caught on camera next. A Cherokee County mother's nightmare is over tonight. Her 12-year-old daughter is safe, and the woman who police say abducted that girl is behind bars.
Now, police say Quenisha Bell took Ariana Warren from her home around 8:30 last night. Her mother called police, who issued a Levi's call for that young girl. And after hours of searching, police caught up to the pair at a Cobb County mall today. Ariana was reunited with her mother, who praised the response of Cherokee County officials.
We're just glad that my daughter's home safe, and we just want to thank Cherokee County and the sheriffs that stayed all night and searched.
That's a relieved mother. Investigators are working to determine why Ariana was taken from her home. They say Quenisha Bell, the woman now facing kidnapping charges, has been described as a friend of the family. We'll continue to follow this story and let you know of any new developments.
Check out that lightning strike caught on camera. That's at the Blue Wahoo Stadium in Pensacola, Florida. My goodness. You can see where those strong storms just barreled through the panhandle. This was last night. There was widespread power outages and serious flooding as well. At one point, more than 2,000 homes and businesses were without power. Well, we saw some storms here as well, and we're kind of bracing for some more.
Had some overnight, and then we had a couple here this afternoon. They're gone now, and I don't expect a whole lot this overnight, but tomorrow, different story, and we'll get to all that here momentarily. But take a look at Fox 5 Live Viper right now. We've got nothing in our immediate area, so we kind of fire up the southeastern view, and boy, there's that line of storms still hanging in there from South Carolina all the way up through North Carolina and on into Virginia as it moves down to the southeast, and numerous severe thunderstorm warnings going on as we speak. And then further upstream from that is another system barreling out of Indiana and Illinois. Now, we call these mesoscale convective systems, or complexes. MCSs is what we shorten them to. I want you to see this one. All right, it started last night, 24 hours ago. Look how this group of thunderstorms just stays together all the way into Chicago early this morning. All sorts of wind damage there, and then on in across Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. Yeah, that was this afternoon, still holding together and moving on into North and South Carolina as we speak. So that's one of them. We've got a couple more in the forecast, and it looks like they want to roll into North Georgia along about tomorrow afternoon and evening. So that's what we have to look forward to. So that's certainly what we're working on here. We got a pop-up evening shower thunderstorm. We've had a couple out there. Expect maybe a few more through the overnight hour. Again, no severe storms overnight. That risk is late tomorrow morning on into tomorrow afternoon. And it looks like the heat's going to continue all week long. That's highs in the 90s and lows in the 70s. Summertime with a firm grip. I mean, look at this. 10 o'clock at night, we haven't cooled much at all because we didn't have a whole lot of showers and thunderstorms to help cool us. We're in the mid-80s right now here in town, mid-80s in Griffin and Thomaston, low 80s in Eatonton and over towards Carrollton and up in Rome, 70s in the North Georgia mountains. So let's take you hour by hour through this evening and on into tomorrow to show you how, well, it's going to take all morning for us to get down into the low in the mid-70s, so a very warm start to the day tomorrow. And then here comes round one, knocking on the door late morning, first part of the afternoon up there in northeast Georgia, and then moving across some of the northern suburbs. This will be mid-afternoon to drive time tomorrow afternoon. Could have some pretty hefty thunderstorms across the area. Thunderstorms that will, have the possibility of being strong to severe. So a little broader view shows these things coming down out of the pike. The MCSs, here it comes, rolling this direction. And so we stop the clock at 8 a.m. Big complex up there in Tennessee, moves into northeast Georgia along about 1 o'clock, and then into the afternoon here, 3, 4, 5 o'clock as far as that goes, and on into 6 and 7 o'clock. So that's when I think things are going to be really active on into tomorrow evening. So let me fine tune what's going to happen. We've got an enhanced chance, and this is from the Storm Prediction Center, to see a severe storm across extreme North Georgia, a slight risk in the metro Atlanta area, telling us that these storms up here in North Georgia from Rome, Woodstock, around Gainesville and up to the North Georgia mountains, they're going to be more intense here, but still the possibility exists as they dive southbound. They will have a strong to severe thunderstorm here in metro Atlanta. So what are the threats? What are the risks, you say? Certainly damaging winds. Winds up to 60, 70 miles an hour. Some large hail is accompanying these storms. The tornado threat is low. It's not zero, though. It's low. We could see something spin up, so be weather aware, especially late tomorrow afternoon, and of course some heavy rain with some of these storms as well. Active weather through the day tomorrow in your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast. Scattered thunderstorms become isolated or less numerous Wednesday and Thursday. Not gone, but less numerous. Temperatures still holding there in the low 90s, and then we peak at the mid 90s Friday and Saturday and on into your Sunday with just a slight risk to see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. Staying hot for a while. We'll have new information on the timing of the storms firing up tomorrow. I'll share that with you coming up tonight at 11.
All right, David, thanks. A Hollywood star accused of stealing water. Tonight, why Tom Selleck claims it's all a big lie.
And police accused her of making it all up. But tonight, there's a new twist in the California kidnapping case. It turns out she was telling the truth the whole time.
And I'm News Edge anchor Tom Haynes coming up tonight at 11 o'clock.
They need to figure out if they have a conscience. I don't see how they can lay down at night.
Frustration turns to forgiveness in one Metro Atlanta community where vandals left their mark on a beloved church. We're going to take a look at the damage left behind and how church members plan to move on. New and next, tonight at 11.
We also know that the statement that Mr. Quinn provided was such an incredible story, we initially had a hard time believing it, and upon further investigation, we were not able to substantiate any of the things that he was saying.
Well, 3 months ago, police called it a hoax, as you heard there. But tonight, there's a new twist in the case of a Northern California woman who claimed to have been kidnapped for ransom. Federal prosecutors charged 38-year-old Matthew Mueller with that woman's abduction. The victim claimed back in March that kidnappers abducted her from her home and demanded an $8,500 ransom. Now, the FBI is only saying that there is recently discovered evidence. Mueller was arrested last month after another home invasion robbery with a lot of similarities to the first kidnapping case. And 2 men are behind bars tonight after the shooting death of a man and his girlfriend last week in Bradenton, Florida. This horrific incident was caught on camera. Police say 3 men broke into the couple's house and then shot and killed Cantrell Brooks and Esther Denius. Now, there were 5 children in the home at the time. Luckily, the kids weren't hurt. Tonight, 18-year-olds Trey Nonombre and Jimmy McNear are facing murder charges. Police are still looking for a 3rd man. Russ?
Well, Sinead, how about this? It turns out actor Tom Selleck paid for the tanker trucks full of water that he was accused of stealing for his drought-stricken California ranch. A water district in Ventura County had sued the Magnum PI star, claiming that a tanker truck filled up at a public hydrant took it to Selleck's 60-acre ranch more than a dozen times in the past 2 years. The public works director says a local construction company has a meter on that hydrant and that Selleck bought that water legally.
An explosion rocks a beach, sending one sunbather flying. So what caused the mysterious blast, and why haven't police found any evidence?
If you're going to commit a crime, then you better be willing to pay the price. And in this case, the price was pretty steep. Coming up, why police say this man returned to the scene after committing burglary. That's next tonight.
Here comes Fox 5 Sports with the latest on Georgia's quarterback situation. We'll be hearing from a guy who may know something about being one.
I think if anything, I would just try to keep my head down.
Whoever the #1 quarterback is, he's got to like seeing this from one of his receivers. And Auburn's got a new QB of their own. Also, the Braves. Well, the All-Star break is here, and so is Fox 5 Sports. It's coming.
The big gainers and big decliners. The Fox 5 Stock Report.
Where are my sneakers for a second? Thought I forgot.
Well, you could call it bad luck, and some may even say it's a case of instant karma.
Well, whatever it was, it killed a man in Forsyth County. Police say he dropped dead while committing a burglary at a home on Brownsbridge Road. But he wasn't acting alone. Investigators say this guy, Jeffrey Chester, returned to the scene and told police what had happened. Apparently, the two were trying to make a getaway when one of the guys dropped to the ground. Chester told investigators that he had nothing to do with his buddy's death, but he was still arrested on burglary charges.
Well, we're 8 weeks away now from the start of UGA's football season, and today an update on the quarterback race that until now had been an unsolved mystery, a mystery that has seen one guy transfer in and another leave. But new today, Bryce Ramsey here, listed as the #1 quarterback on the team's depth chart. That fact was discovered during SEC Media Days today. Ramsey, a redshirt sophomore, has the most experience, but didn't seem to win over the coaches during the offseason. So what does it all mean? Well, probably nothing right now. Mark Richt quickly went to Twitter to say the quarterback race is still wide open. Fatone Balta is listed as #2. Virginia transfer Grayson Lambert isn't even on the depth chart. His arrival probably too late to be printed on the roster. The crowded quarterback led Jacob Park to leave Athens, but Balta remains. And maybe, how about the best man winning this job, huh?
Yeah, we definitely push each other. I think that's the best part about it, is that we never shy away from helping each other out. It's just we're close. We don't have any issues with each other, and we just understand that the best guy's going to win the job, and when it comes time, we're all going to stay prepared and ready to go in. You can't be upset if you don't win it. You just got to always be prepared and understand that your time will come. Opportunities come at the weirdest times.
Yes, they do. Now, need anything else to get you fired up for football season? Check out receiver Malcolm Mitchell's Instagram post, seeing catching the ball every which way you can. So whoever's quarterbacking the Dogs has got to love seeing this. We know Malcolm can catch, but can he stay healthy? If he does, the Georgia offense is going to have a huge season. And let's not forget the Gators are starting the season with a new head coach. Jim McElwain arrived in Gainesville after 3 successful seasons at Colorado State after being Alabama's offensive coordinator for 4 years prior during 2 national championship runs. But talking about the offensive line he inherited from Will Muschamp, McElwain, well, kind of played down their hopes for this season.
A lack of numbers, a lack of experience, and yet that's the way it is. So I don't look at it as hindering or anything like that. I look at it as a great challenge, and going to be a lot of fun seeing some guys grow up.
Sound a lot like Steve Spurrier. The All-Star break is upon us. Home Run Derby tonight in Cincinnati, and Todd Frazier of the Reds put on a show in the final round to win it in front of the hometown fans. By the way, All-Star game right here on Fox 5 tomorrow night. Regarding the Braves, you know that story. Huge opportunity wasted over the last 10 games against the last place teams. They ended up getting swept by the Rockies and have lost 5 straight going into the break. Now 7 games out of first place with a whole lot of explaining to do. Enough about that. Fox 5 Sports continues on the edge, and we'll meet Auburn's new quarterback and hear from a Georgia great with his advice for UGA's new quarterback, whoever that's going to be. Sinead?
All right, K-Rod. Well, neighbors could hear the blast for miles. A food truck goes up in flames as customers duck for cover.
And what do you do if you have a water leak? Well, if you're the city of Atlanta, you just cover it up. You won't believe what our cameras captured this afternoon. That story is next. Plus, Chief Meteorologist David Chanley is working on an updated forecast for the Edge tonight. David?
Yeah, a couple complexes of thunderstorms out to our northwest want to roll our way through the day on Tuesday. Working on the new timing of that tonight at 11.
And coming up all new and next at 11, it sounds like a movie plot or maybe a bad dream, but it really happened to a man in Texas.
I was over here in the back for an hour on the computer and nobody was here because they left and locked me inside FedEx office.
Wait until you hear what this guy did to get out. We'll see you next at 11.
Well, you don't have to be a construction expert to figure out what's wrong with this next story.
Our Fox 5 cameras were rolling today as a crew hired by the city of Atlanta paved over a water leak in southwest Atlanta.
Fox 5's Morse Diggs has a story you will only see here.
Road paving projects are taking place all over the city of Atlanta. The work we're about to show you was done by a private company whose government manager told me this afternoon they did what the city told them to do. If you see new blacktop, you know you'll have that smooth, pothole-free zone, at least for a while. But a closer look shows a problem.
I asked the supervisor, the contractors, I said, did you realize that the water was leaking? He said, yes. I said, if the water is leaking with the asphalt stick? He said, yes, but it'll crack eventually.
There is a considerable and steady flow. Been there for days, says the Southwest Atlanta homeowner. She knows that before the warning, no parking signs were put up. The water meter street leak was flowing.
That's wasting taxpayers' dollars. This don't make any sense. They think they can just come in our neighborhood and do anything, and we're going to be all right with it, but it's wrong.
This repaving done by a private firm hired by the city. A manager who supervises the City of Atlanta work for the company told me they continue the work at the instruction of the Public Works Department. Citywide council member Michael Bond took a look at the repaving, speaking to the puzzled, unhappy taxpayer. The veteran local lawmaker did not understand why the leak wasn't repaired first. Is this how sinkholes get created?
Right, sinkholes, because they're usually created underneath the ground, but it's almost always because of water seepage.
A spokesperson for the mayor says what was done was intentional, with the water repair to be done soon. That taxpayer has a prediction about what's going to happen next. Well, she says the water department probably have to go back out there, dig up that portion of the road to fix the leak. Then she says, okay, the road will be incomplete. How long will it take for them to repave it again? From City Hall in downtown Atlanta, I'm Morse Diggs, Fox 5 News.
It blew her right out of the chair. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that, and I mean, we're at the beach all the time.
A woman catapulted out of her beach chair. Tonight, new concerns about a mystery explosion on the coast.
Wolf Moratory.
Sure, this is the second time we've been in this neighborhood in the last month or so. This is the, see, he did.
Take that one only because it has a
black band?
Yeah, it matches my suit.
This one matches your
A food truck goes up in flames in North Carolina. A firefighter was taken to the hospital after he was knocked to the ground during that explosion.
Witnesses reported hearing that blast from blocks away. Several cars were damaged. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries.
And turning now to another explosion, this one in the middle of a quiet beach in Rhode Island.
A 60-year-old woman was sunbathing on Saturday when an underground explosion catapulted her 10 feet into the air. She was released from the hospital yesterday with several broken ribs. The woman's sister told reporters that she had a concussion and a pound of sand in her ears and nose.
It was almost like an explosion from underneath the sand, and it just busted up, and she went flying about 5 to 6 feet in the air. She landed almost like on her face, and her arm went behind her.
Ooh, that was quite the blast. Investigators have found no physical evidence of an explosion.
From Fox 5, News Edge at 11 starts now.
Tonight, the Fox 5 storm team is keeping a close eye on a powerful storm system that is making its way south, and it could mean changes early tomorrow afternoon. Good evening and welcome, everybody. I'm Tom Haynes. You'll certainly need to take your umbrellas with you tomorrow. Fox 5 Storm Team Chief Meteorologist David Chanley joins us now with a first look at when we can expect the rain to arrive. David?
I expect a few showers early tomorrow morning across extreme North Georgia there, Tom, but the big storms won't start developing until tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Now, this round is missing us, moving through the Carolinas right now, and you can see the general motion down to the southeast, but you see the intensity of these storms that have been together all day long, and that's the kind of weather system that's be coming our way from upstream. This complex up here is going to spawn another one to come our direction through the day tomorrow. So let me show you this with our satellite radar composite. Essentially what's happening, we've got an area of high pressure out here to our east or to our west, and then what happens is we drag down these thunderstorms with a northwest wind flow aloft, and they just kind of stay together. They are complexes that kind of hang out, and they don't lose their intensity day or night, and they're going to be rolling our way through the day tomorrow. Now, bring you up to date, we do have a tropical storm out here moving away, Tropical Storm Claudette. It's not a factor, but the thunderstorms will be a factor. So let me show you early on what's going to happen. We'll take the clock forward through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and you see some clouds out there. And then by late in the morning, first part of the afternoon, we start seeing some thunderstorms show up in extreme North Georgia. And then watch this. It's like we flip a switch, and they just come southbound. By 3 o'clock, here we go. We got storms across places like Canton and Gainesville, all the way down towards Covington and the I-20 corridor, and then moving across metro Atlanta late tomorrow afternoon. Notice how the complex is staying together on into tomorrow evening. So that's what we have to look forward to. I'm going over the intensity of these storms, what you can expect, what the risks are going to be. We're going to have that for you coming up in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, a lot to talk about tonight to be ready for tomorrow. David, we'll see you in just a little bit. Thanks. Now on to a Fox 5 News alert tonight. Imagine the terror of waking up to a violent criminal breaking down your front door. This is happening in East Atlanta. These crooks are bold, and in some cases, they strike not once but twice. Fox 5's Nicole Estefan joining us now live from East Atlanta. And Nicole, these thieves aren't concerned that their victims might be home.
Well, that's right, Tom. And a lot of these break-ins are happening in broad daylight as early as 7 a.m. in the morning. Neighbors tell us that they've seen these guys walking around peeping into homes, and now there's growing concern that they're getting more brazen.
Night tables, pulled all the drawers out, emptied everything out, ripped up my bed.
Early Saturday morning, Nick Burchell received a phone call that has become all too familiar in this area.
Your house is being broken into. The police are there, and they are chasing a couple of young guys.
Fox 5 was just a few blocks away last month after several neighbors had their doors kicked in and valuables stolen. Break-ins in broad daylight. Those responsible don't even seem too concerned whether or not someone is home. The crime's similar here, but it seems the crooks are getting braver.
That's what's scary. They'll ring doorbells even at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I'm really concerned. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy.
Lee Tanner was across the street when Burchell's house was broken into, just a week after two of his neighbors had their doors kicked in.
They were kind of eyeballing everybody's house, and I noticed that they went up to their front door and started peeping in the windows.
Some of the items stolen speak to the possibility of more crime to come.
They did take a big flathead screwdriver, so which made me think like maybe they were taking something to use for further break-ins.
A frightening thought for many here when they lock up to go about their days, wondering whose house may be next.
Certainly a scary and concerning situation here in East Atlanta. Police are asking anyone who lives in the area to keep their eyes open. We're live in East Atlanta. Nicole Estefan, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, because that sounds very frightening. All right, Nicole, thanks. All new tonight, this next story is one that may leave you upset. Miss Rose Cherry says that the car her church bought her was like a gift from heaven. But tonight, crooks carry out an unholy act, ripping it off after a crash. Fox 5's Denise Dillon reports this all happened in Southwest Atlanta. Denise, you talked to the church's pastor a short while ago. What did he say about Miss Rose getting ripped off?
Well, Tom, I think everybody here agrees that it's just despicable. We are talking about members of this church, New Faith Christian Church here in Northwest Atlanta, all getting together to buy a fellow parishioner a car, a woman who's in her 60s and is disabled. And then a group of thieves comes along and steals it.
This sits this beautiful car with this gigantic silver bow on the top. And I just couldn't believe it. It was like I've died and gone to heaven, if that's what heaven's like.
Rose Cherry couldn't wait to get behind the wheel of her 2012 Hyundai Accent. Members of New Faith Christian Church all pitched in to help her buy it.
We cannot have Mother Cherry riding the bus in the cold. So I challenged the church. I said, you know what, we need to come together and try to buy Mother Cherry a car.
Miss Cherry had the car 48 hours and was driving with her friend Leola Stewart when she got into a fender bender at this intersection in Southwest Atlanta. When both women got out of the car, they say a group of teens who had been walking along the railroad tracks jumped in the car and took off.
And when I turned around, the boy was in the car, and I said, Lord, they done stole this girl's car.
They also got away with her wallet, camera, and favorite pink cane. And of course, no way to get to church.
These kids don't have any type of direction to do something like this to such an elderly lady. She's handicapped.
Ms. Cherry says she's hoping for a miracle.
I just want him the car back.
The bishop says he's not sure how, but they'll find a way to get Miss Cherry a new car. Reporting live in Northwest Atlanta, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, we hope she gets her car back. All right, Denise, thanks. Tonight, DeKalb County Police hope surveillance video will help them find a killer. The killer they're looking for murdered Harry Wells about 4 o'clock this morning at the Exxon station near Memorial Drive and Covington Highway. A witness tells police that he saw the shooter walk out of the convenience store after Wells was killed. Anybody with information about the murder is asked to call DeKalb County Police. A 20-year-old is now facing charges in connection with the death of a popular artist. Police say Corey Cease was under the influence when he hit and killed Andy Davis in Henry County over the weekend. Davis was recently selected to create a sculpture of Martin Luther King Jr. for the state capitol. One of his closest friends says Davis will be remembered as a wonderful friend and a talented artist. Well, should religious leaders be forced to perform same-sex marriage ceremonies? One Georgia lawmaker says no and is getting ready to introduce a bill that would protect pastors and others who refuse to marry same-sex couples. Fox 5's Natalie Tejada joins us now in studio with the details on this proposed legislation and the firestorm that it has created in the realm of social media. Natalie?
That's right, Tom. The Pastoral Protection Act is being pushed in by a Georgia Republican, David Ralston. He wants to ensure that faith leaders who do not support same-sex marriage would not have to legally perform those ceremonies. Now, the wording says along the lines of no minister, cleric, or religious practitioner ordained or authorized to perform marriages shall be required to do so if it violates his or her religious beliefs. Now, while the language is likely to change between now and when the bill actually makes it to the General Assembly next year, several other state lawmakers have also expressed interest in sponsoring the bill.
And if we're going to truly have a separation of church and state, then let's provide that legal reassurance.
Now, since the news of this bill broke this afternoon, many of you have been very vocal on social media, and almost everyone supports the idea of not requiring religious people to perform gay marriages. And take a look at some of these. One person we spoke with, she says the funny thing is this is really just a waste of time and money outside of a public judge. Most couples, straight or gay, would not ask a pastor or clergy who do not approve of their relationship to marry them. Another person we looked at says pastors and other religious figures should not be forced to perform marriages for same-sex couples. The law is for civil ceremonies, not religious ones. And another person was talking about it and said, I wholeheartedly agree with them and in marriage equality for all. I'm not religious, but that does not mean that any church should have to change their policies for anyone. There are many ways to get married that do not involve a church or a preacher or pastor, and that those are what should be mandated by law, but not churches and pastors. A church is not a public business for a reason. There are hundreds and hundreds of these conversations online. Now, since this story first broke, we have received hundreds of comments online, and these are just the beginning. Talk to us on our Facebook page. We have nearly over several 100,000 people. Continue to talk to me on our Fox 5 Facebook page and tweet me at Nat Tejeda Fox 5. Tom?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of an issue this would have been anyway, but it looks like it's generating a lot of controversy already. All right.
Tons of controversy from both straight and gay couples.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Natalie, thanks. Well, a damaged sign and broken crosses. Coming up next here at 11 o'clock, vandals leave their mark on 2 metro area churches. Ben.
I am stuck inside FedEx office.
You heard that right, stuck inside a store. Wait until you hear how this happened and how this guy got out. Coming up next.
Oh, belly button. Oh,
Sure.
there. Okay.
That's good.
Call it a sinister.
All new tonight on The Edge, call it a sinister Sunday sight. Vicious vandals leave a chilling message for 2 Baptist churches, upside-down crosses and the words hell and Satan on welcome signs. As Forsyth County deputies investigate this crime, Fox 5 Jacqueline Schultz met with church leaders. And unfortunately, Jacqueline, they made yet another discovery today.
Yeah, this is pretty sad, Tom. Turns out the church found out that the vandals came back and scribbled the word hell several times inside the crosses in the sign for Bethel Baptist Church. Now, the churches obviously want these vandals caught and for the crooks to get a conscience.
We believe this is holy ground.
An unholy sight on holy ground on the Sabbath. The Bethel Baptist Church sign, pried open, letters spell out Satan, and in a cross, the word hell. Scribbled across the glass, the phrase, go to hell.
It hurts.
That same Sunday, right down the street at another church, a horrific sight at Ridgeview Baptist. 3 crosses of Christ, all upside down. Pastor Eddie Kane called the find heartbreaking. Vandals also broke a window and a bird bath and left beer cans.
Their damage to me was worse because it was more sentimental.
Yeah, it's pretty discouraging.
And Monday night, leaders at Bethel Baptist Church learned vandals came back to scribble hell on more crosses on the welcome sign, changed up the sign letters again, and added more scratches.
Probably $1,500 for a small congregation. That's a hard amount to come up with.
Both churches hoping the culprits will be brought to justice and have a change of heart.
I don't see how they can lay down at night knowing that they have done something like this. They need a little more guidance in their life.
Now, no word from investigators what they've learned so far, but church leaders do hope that someone will come forward and confess who did it, Tom.
Quite possibly the strangest experience of my life. So I'm just chilling.
This is really bizarre. It was a frightening experience for a Texas man who documented the entire thing with his cell phone camera. Just wait until you hear what happened to him. Plus, Fox 5 Storm Team Chief Meteorologist David Chanley tracking those storms that are supposed to roll in tomorrow. David?
Man, we're going to be hot and humid overnight and through much of the day tomorrow there, Tom. And then we're going to see these waves of storms roll in, and some of them are going to be pretty intense all the way into the evening. We'll map out the timing next. It's a tad warm across North Georgia. Take a look at these temperatures here at 11 o'clock at night. Still 84 here in town. We were topped out at 92 this afternoon. Mid-70s in Blue Ridge and Clayton, 82 down in Griffin, 82 down in LaGrange, and we're going to work our way down into the 70s. Let me show you what's coming our way. We call these mesoscale convective systems. This is one that rolled through much of the nation today and gives you an example of what's ahead tomorrow. Look at this. We go back 24 hours. Watch how this thing just kind of holds together on in towards Chicago. This is not a front or anything. This is a group of thunderstorms hanging out and just causing some havoc with winds up to 60 and 70 miles an hour. And now it's moved on into the Carolinas, leaving in its wake some damage and a whole bunch of rain. And then we've got some more that's going to happen through the course of the next 24 hours. So that's what we're working on now. Pop-up showers, yeah, we could have a couple. Not much to that, though, but the risk of severe storms is very likely tomorrow morning through tomorrow afternoon, and the heat continues with temperatures in the 90s for highs. So let's roll this clock forward now right on through tomorrow morning. We'll stop it right at lunch. I expect some thunderstorms up here, and a couple of those could be kind of potent. And as they make their way down into metro Atlanta along about Tuesday afternoon, look out, and they're going to hang around, balance the afternoon and on into tomorrow evening as well as we get wave after wave of these storms. Now, we're in the enhanced risk category. See a severe storm across extreme north Georgia, slight risk, which is a step below here in the metro area, but it means that any place in our viewing audience could see a strong to severe thunderstorm through the day tomorrow. The greatest threat is damaging winds up to 60 and 70 miles an hour with some hail, heavy rain, no doubt. The tornado threat is low, but it's not zero. That's important to point out. Could get some of these storms out ahead of the main line, these discrete cells that we call that could spin something up very, very quickly. And we'll be monitoring that through the course of the afternoon. Look at this now. This is tomorrow evening. Notice how we're still very, very warm, and we still have thunderstorms, and they really get intense even towards 8, 9 o'clock. So these things are not dependent on the afternoon heating. What they're dependent on is what time they group together and decide to slide southbound. And that's going to be the case right on through your Tuesday evening into early Wednesday morning, and then another warm start to the day on Wednesday as well. Temperatures there only in the 70s. Now, the risk of thunderstorms on Wednesday a little lower than tomorrow, but still they're going to be out there right on into Thursday as well. Look at the high temperatures in the low 90s. We'll park it in the mid 90s come Friday and Saturday with less of a thunderstorm risk. It looks like the 90s are hanging in there till early next week. Joanne Feldman have an update on the timing of the thunderstorms rolling into metro Atlanta. Make sure you join her tomorrow morning on Good Day Atlanta.
All right, David, thanks. Well, being locked in a store with no way out is probably pretty scary, right? Well, it happened to one man in Texas. Take a look at this.
I am stuck inside FedEx office on 281 in Bitters. I was over here in the back for an hour on the computer and nobody was here because they left and locked me inside FedEx office. Quite possibly the strangest experience of my life. So I'm just chilling, FedEx office all by myself. See what happens. I'll keep you updated.
Just he and his camera. We're told that the man had to call a manager at a nearby FedEx store to let him out. And after he was stuck inside for a couple of hours, that happened. He finally got out, but not after rolling on the whole thing for, what seemed like, to him at least, an eternity being stuck in there. But he looked quite content.
Yeah, talk about overnight service. Yeah. What a dedicated FedEx fella. And because you can never get enough of back, it's the Home Run Derby. And the winner, by popular demand, well, Fox 5 Sports will be back right after this. Exciting night in Cincinnati as far as home run derbies go. Reds third baseman Todd Frazier winning it on the last swing, becoming only the second player to win the derby on his home field, and the place went nuts. It was a family affair with his brother Charles doing the pitching. Great story. Frazier was a member of that Toms River, New Jersey Little League title team that won the '98 World Series. He hit a homer in that game in the clincher against Japan. Well, what to do about the Georgia quarterback situation? The Dogs brought their depth chart to SEC Media Days today, and it lists redshirt sophomore Bryce Ramsey as the #1 quarterback. But Mark Richt quickly jumped on Twitter to say that the quarterback race is far from over and will be settled over the summer. And when you talk about Georgia quarterbacks, they don't get much better than the left-hander David Green, a 4-year starter and Georgia's all-time winningest quarterback with 42 career victories. At one time, that was the winningest record in NCAA history before that was broken. So here now, some sage advice from old number 14 as he spoke to our Cody Chaffins.
I think if anything, I would just try to keep my head down and just play my game. You know, anytime you're, as me, I was coming in as a redshirt freshman, you don't have to be the rah-rah guy in the huddle and assume that leadership. Let your play speak for itself. That, and also put the team first. You know, if you're playing and you're trying to figure out a way to make the team better versus worrying about yourself and am I going to be the starter or am I not, it takes the pressure off of you.
All right, let me hear you. War Eagle. Okay, you can stop now. I want to talk about Auburn's new quarterback. Seems like Nick Marshall was literally running the show for decades, and run he did, but he's gone, and in steps in Jeremy Johnson, Marshall's backup the last 2 years. Johnson is known as a passer first. To some, that must mean he can't run, but Jeremy explains.
We just gonna take what the defense give us, and if that calls for me running the ball, a lot of people gonna be amazed and like surprised. But the people who know I can run the ball, it won't be such a surprise to them.
I look forward to being surprised. We'll see. A reminder to snuggle up with us tomorrow night for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game live on Fox 5. Coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. Tom, we'll be here late tonight.
So not Braves in bed, but everybody
All-Star.
Everybody. All right.
Steady now, fella.
We'll stay up late.
Okay.
All right, Ken, thanks. And thank you for joining us tonight on Fox 5 News Edge. Access Hollywood is coming up next. And stay connected to Fox 5 around the clock. Check me out on social media. I'm always on Facebook and Twitter at Tom Haines Fox 5. Good Day Atlanta starts at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow night on Fox 5 News Edge at 11. Good night.